In this video I have a Sansui amplifier. It is a, what is it, AU-D22 integrated amplifier super feed forward system. Badge is a bit damaged on it. I think these are sort of later 80s, somewhere around there. Quite a nice era of amp normally. Something's wrong with it, no idea actually what. Someone's cut the plug off it because it's sold as a faulty one. We've got tape, record, play for tape 1 and 2, phono, tuner and auxiliary, 2 speaker system, speaker impedance 4 to 16 ohms, and that's about all I know about it. We're set to 20 volts, probably should be set to 240 volts. A little bit of corrosion there is not a good sign. The whole case on it's a bit corroded, so it might have been kept in a garage or something. Probably hasn't been used in years, as happened with a lot of these stereo systems. But let's have a look inside. It might be a complete wreck for all I know. And what's it look like inside? I think it's in pretty good condition, plenty of dust. A few little spots of corrosion on the base. And that's about all I can say about it. Oh, I guess we'll hook a power plug up to this thing, see what it does. Well, we've got a flashing power light, that's a new one. Speaker. Oh, that's the protector, so that must be normal to let you know the protector is waiting to kick in. Moving cartridge, moving magnet, high filter, minus 20 dB muting. Do we have a light up? Yeah, oh that one's, I can say they're all yellow, but tape 1 and 2 are yellow. The rest are green. Rather dim lamps really, but probably good enough I guess. Well, if the speakers kick in, can't be too bad you wouldn't think. This has got these older style connectors where you just poke the wire down the middle and rotate, and it should make contact. Even with these tinned ones I got, well, that one didn't go quite in right. There we go. It's a bit of a oddball one you don't see on that many units, but they're actually nice and easy to do. Better than trying to screw something up on each wire. Ooh, that's distorted. Tie it all together. Well, obviously no DC on the output, but that channel is very distorted. That is the right channel according to the balance control. Now what do we got in the way of outputs in this thing? I hope it's not an SDR chip. I don't think it is. Now I can see separate transistor outputs. Might even be worth a quick look at the voltages on those to see. Sometimes it can be something that you can find, blown fusible resistors or something. Someone probably had this a bit too loud at a party or something and overheated it, but who knows, it could be that we find a bit of corrosion or something in there yet. Let's see what we got here. Pretty much your standard things, C2577s and A1102, they were pretty common transistor and things. What is that white stuff there? As long as that's not something conductive or anything. Doesn't look like we've got any ICs in the amp stage. We'll have a quick look for bad solder joints. This is sort of, a few of them are getting there maybe. Is anything running hot? That's always a good indicator. Turn that down for now, put the balance in the middle, I guess. Now, is that the ground? That looks like the ground, or is it? I think that's ground. Minus 40, 40, 40, minus 40. So I'll look at the other pin, nothing. This is probably the more telling, 0.7. 0.7, nothing, nothing, nothing. Now, which channel's the good one? Oh, there it is now. I've got minus 0.6, 0.5, 0.7, 0.7, that's not a good sign probably. Of course, nothing here to tell you which channel is which. So what we can do is just find out from the speaker it's none of those, that'd be bloody right. Certainly shouldn't be those ones, they're the rails. Not connected properly. Oh, what up? So now we've got a protection relay. Where is that son of a... So that's relay 1, it's actually in a metal case for some reason, this one. Problem is when we turn the power off, I'm not going to be able to connect to the... We're not going to have a connection to the output here, but what we can do is chase it from the output to the relay and back again, I guess. So that's... So it's this one. Okay, so this is the right channel. Let's see if we can find where that goes on the relay. There. So I assume that switches to this channel, is it? That goes to bloody circuit board. What? Yeah, that goes to that circuit board there. What? Oh, that's this edge connector circuit board thing. Not sure, maybe that's something to do with the protection sensing or something. There's a little chip and stuff on that board, does say protector on there somewhere. Must come back out of there somewhere. Here it is. So this is heading over to this channel. Oh, there's the resistor. So it looks like this is the channel, the one with the 2.7s. Would have been my guess as the one that was faulty. It's got the same voltage on the base of both transistors, so yeah, they're going to be shorted together. I'm not sure they should be. No, maybe. Let's compare them. 127 ohms. 127 ohms. Bummer. So what feeds into that? That's 0.4 ohms. That's 0.5 ohms. And there were some fusible resistors here. So we're going to go back to something like this transistor here maybe. Yeah, that's one of the bases. 4.9 ohms goes into this, I assume this transistor. Yep. Now the base on the other, does that go through this thing? Looks like it does. comes across, so there's our other driver. So there's 2 driver transistors, that's what we want. That'll be the next thing to check the voltage on. But at least we know which channel's faulty now. That should have our 0.7. Oop. And that voltage is going up and down with the music, it seems. Bit odd, I would have thought. Unsteady. And which one are we on? The 2.5. Minus 1.2, 40. Minus 0.6. This one goes through a resistor. Oh, here it is. 1.1, 40. 0.5. That's all over the place with the music, I think. 40. Yeah, that's all over the place as well. So it's something feeding into this. We go back to another transistor here. 40. And further back I go. Everything's just feeding weirdly. It's not the ideal way to test it really, but I'm just interested in having a quick poke around. We've really got some random voltages here. The question is that one of the driver transistors here? Where does the audio come in is the next thing. Oh, thankfully good old Hi-Fi Engine had a circuit, so thanks to Ivy Claudius, I think they were called, or something, who uploaded this. So this is basically one channel from the volume control there. Well, I think that's the volume control. It's one of those controls. Preamp basically comes in through all this, and that's the speaker output here. So there's a whole lot of these protector transistors, so that's why there's so much stuff in there, which probably aren't something I need to worry about. So I really need to chase through these particular ones that are in the actual chain doing the work. Gets back to one of these, looks like a matched pair there. So let's try and, well, now we're going to try and work out which transistor's which is a bit hard from the bottom here. What did I get to? There was this other connector here, wasn't there? What was that connector? No idea. And this is where it gets a bit messy. So is this that circuit board with protector written on it and something else? That is quite likely what it is. It could be something this protector's doing something, but I doubt it. And then maybe this is that. What do we got? 1, 2, 3, 4 connectors. So we're really got to find which transistor is which here. They're showing like they're on different boards, so what the hell that means? 3589, 3590. Okay, so it looks like that's the amp board, that's the preamp board. So 3590 must be that one. 3589 must be this one, even though I can't see any labels on them. But that one of those voltages I was finding, I think, comes back to this preamp board, probably this connector here. They don't label the connectors, unfortunately, and they've conveniently covered this up. Normally these are just a center pin and a little bit around the outside. You just pull the center pin with the head on it up a bit and it should release. Yeah, a few of these transistors, I think they're the flat packs on the other side. Not the best soldering on them. But I think we'll have a poke around there because I think our faulty voltage is coming from there somewhere. That'll be ground again, no doubt. Where was that connector? Is that it? 40 volts. That might be the one that's varying with the, it looks like ground. That's probably the other channel. Minus 40 volts. That comes all the way. What? It is that one. Okay, now we're getting somewhere. This one comes through a link around here, through here. So they're both going to that selector switch, which is, well, that could be the problem. Oh, tone defeat. Ugh. Wonder if I got a dicky switch. It wouldn't be that simple, would it? I doubt it, but how can I get into that switch? Try flooding the back of it. I don't know if it's going to get in there. That's one of the hassles. Nah, it's still stuffed. Ooh. Oh, dry joint. I think I might have a dry joint, maybe. Definitely got some bad soldering on some of those transistors. So is that all it is? I might redo those flat pack things. These transistors are certainly bad. Well, it seems to fix the distorted channel, so it's just dry joints there somewhere on, I reckon it's those flat pack transistors. They're the ones that obviously run the hottest, but I don't seem to have any tone controls. Switch is working, it seems. So why don't the tone controls work? What I found is the bass controls actually working, I think, but not the treble. So that seems to work. Boosts and drops the bass. Treble does nothing. Yeah, it's not that noticeable. The bass does very little. Less than I would have expected. And the treble does not seem to do a thing, so maybe there's something wrong with that pot. So I might have to pull this apart and have a look. Take the front panel off and see if I can see anything obvious there. Okay, I got the circuit printed out. It's quite a weird setup. Basically the speaker output comes down around here. Into that must be the tone bypass switch. In one setting it goes through a 62k ohm resistor along here up into the base of these two no, it probably goes past those transistors, but it goes in the base for another 100k and a capacitor of this match pair transistor. The two, well, they're not FETs in this one, I don't think. The circuit I had before was actually turned out to be for a slightly different model, which was in the same manual, a 33 or something. So maybe this is just a match pair transistors. Or when we switch through the tone controls, where are we here? Comes along onto that board through various caps and stuff. You've got treble, VR2 on one side, bass on the other side, and this sort of path shows how it goes through each thing and then comes back into that transistor. So it's almost like some sort of feedback from the output that then goes into this transistor pair here, which then sort of feeds into the power amplifier. So that one, yeah, matches in with the other one, and then yeah, it goes through a few different things. So quite a mess, and there's all sorts of high value resistors, 270k, 50k ohm pots. So a bit of an interesting setup, but it's only this treble one that doesn't seem to work. The other one works, but not very well. But maybe that's all it's meant to do. There's a slight boost or cut to the bass there. It's definitely there, but you've got to kind of listen for it. Not like your normal amplifier. I'm just wondering if there's a common, because of course there's one of these potentiometers for each channel. So I'm just wondering what would take out the whole thing. Like, has it lost a common ground or something? It's possible two of the pins would be joined together, but looking at this, they're kind of separate in each channel, I think. But all these sort of other lines which are actually just the circuit board they're on and stuff. But yeah, it comes in and then it's got a, I guess it connects, yeah, this is the common point feeding back. So anything in that line, but like I say, wire 2 channels seemingly both taken out. Rather weird. All we can really do is pull this thing to bits. Probably won't hurt to take the front off and have a look anyway. I think we've got to remove the front panel. Yeah, because the pots are there. I think we'll at least get the front off so we can access it, though I don't know whether this bit of metal comes off or anything. I think the whole metal bit that the front mounts to probably does remove, though. You've got to probably undo every nut on every pot. So quite a pain to get to. Yeah, how does the volume come off? Oh, do we actually have a grub screw on that thing? I think we might. Yeah, I think down in that hole there's a tiny little Allen key type grub screw there. Something around that size. Finding it's going to be another thing. I'd say it's actually smaller than that one. It can't be that small, surely. It's quite a way down in there. I don't think I'm even falling into it. Oh, there it is. Yeah, I didn't think it would be that small. Finding it is a real pain, and if of course you haven't got the Allen key on the right angle. Oh, finally got it. So that is, I don't know what, probably about a 1.6 maybe. I'm using a video Allen key set. tiny little one, but yeah, of course these aren't in the right pockets anymore, I don't think. Could that be, that might even be a 0.9mm, it's around a millimetre I think. Yeah, that's probably 0.9, so I reckon it is about the 1.9 or 1.27, something like that. Not sure what they've done there. Definitely had something smelly on this thing at some point. I'll have to give it a proper clean at some stage. That's all we've got to do to take the front off. Could do with a bit of a clean. Yeah, problem is this piece of metal is in the way of accessing anything. What a pain. So we've got screws on the front here, screws onto those buttons, screws onto that, screws on every switch. And it looks like the LED boards are attached separately. So that's not going to be much fun. But maybe some of this stuff can stay attached to this. We're going to select the switch. That board's small. Didn't really want to pull this apart. It's always a pain doing this with amps. Headphone socket has a nut on it. A lot of these other boards I think are loose on the front panel. Out you come. Power switch is on its own board. Probably have to take the knob off that as well. I think the headphone socket's going to have to go. The rest of it hopefully moves with the front panel a bit enough to access what I want to access. Gotta be super careful with these things, they break very easily. Yeah, this whole board's coming with it. Whether I can actually run this thing is another thing in pieces. I'm getting somewhere now. What's coming with it? I think we might need to take, this is quite tight. The selector's got a mechanical linkage. Gotta be careful of those floating around because that can short things out. Let's just put that back on there for now. Well, at least I can access the pots. Now, do I have any dry joints or anything? Is the first thing to check for. Can't see anything obvious there. They're starting to go a little bit bad, but nothing obvious. At least I can do a quick resistance check. I'm not sure which one was which. Treble is towards the volume side, so over this side, that's the treble there. So we should have a couple of 50k pots. Nope. 50k there maybe. That's already not looking the best, but maybe they're spread. Oh, some of these I think, was it one pot inside another? Some weird setups possibly. That pin's connected to what? Anything? So maybe that's a wiper. Maybe they had wipers at one end. Geez, I'm trying to remember now. I can't make much sense of that. That's 40k to one thing, mega ohms to another. This pot's not looking the best, but 170k, that's something charging up, I think. Each pin should measure to at least 2 other pins. Well, let's compare it to the other one, I guess. That's more like it, maybe. Yeah, one end's measuring 25k to 2 others, so it's right in the middle, which I think is about set to, well, soon even to the other pin. 2k to that. 10 ohms to that. So that measures a lot, but I think this pot might be shot. The only other possibility is the wipers just aren't touching anything. That's much more like what I'd expect. This one's like it's open circuit or something. Well, I guess the only thing I can do is unsolder it and see. Oops. There it is. Let's just do another quick check of it. Might be even worse with it disconnected from the circuit. It is 165 ohm there, k ohm there. It's just a bunch of mega ohms. Besides the old connection, I've got a 43k there still. Does that one change when we turn it? No. So rather odd. Possibly this has had some sort of mechanical damage. Need the circuit board type component clippers. Shouldn't really use these for this, but they work really well for just bending these things up. It's like this has had something liquid in it or something, it's eaten all the bits of the pot off. That's the problem, and good luck trying to buy a new one these days. Once upon a time you just order another one rather than messing around. Or has it been cracked or something? I can't see anything of it. A couple of those wipers are lower than the others. But I'm wondering why we're not measuring the tracks. There is some sort of damage possibly in part of it. No crack in it that I can see. Usually if they crack they just snap off the whole bottom bit or something. A couple of lines on it, but I'm not sure if they're damaged or what they are. Is it just the way it's been made? Oh well, now that we've got it apart, we should be able to. So we've got one ring goes right around the outside by the look of it, and it's mega ohms. Well, let's go from that pin to the carbon track. 26 ohms, for 40 ohms, 19 ohms. How did that go up and then down again? 16. So maybe that's not actually, oh, maybe it's not connected to the other one. I think it is. No, it's not. So the outer ring just goes round, so that's fine. So that might be some indication of something. Then we've got the next two in, I think, are joined. Well, actually, that'll be joined to the outer, maybe. That's your 43 k ohm. So that's one of the main loops, most likely. That should be this big wide piece here. So that's meant to be a 50 k ohm, I think. Then we've got two either side of that one. Another 40 k ohm. Oh, that's looking better. Why was I not measuring that before? Maybe because I was measuring the wrong things, but the other one, and that is just a inner ring. So maybe it is just the wipers. Yeah, one's quite well bent up. Oh, there's another little, oh, so there is an inner piece too, maybe on this big piece of metal. Oh, that's hooked to the same wiper. So possibly the inner ring and the other two are shorted anyway, but these other two are quite well down. All the little fingers are bent. We can try bending everything just up a bit more. It shouldn't matter too much if you overdo it, because they should just push back down when you press it on the board and push everything back together. Now, which side did that come out of? That side? Oh, the other, it must be the other side. That's one thing, I always forget to check what went where, but yeah, it should be a gap above the circuit board tracks where they enter. Yeah, I think that went on that way. This is an Alps pot, so they're normally very good quality. I think I got the chassis back in right, didn't I? The frame comes forward, yep. I think so. I should have measured it before I squeeze it all shut, but let's squeeze it all shut. If this doesn't fix it, I don't think anything will. At least I know a bit more about what's inside it now. I think those two are a 40k, and I forgot that one and that one with the other 40k, I think. Yep. Now, are we now connected? No, we're not. That bugger. That one's not connected to anything. This is the other. Oh no, that was. So what's this middle one? Is that connected to anything? It's still not connected. Unless they're tarnished or something. Let's give it a clean, see if it makes any difference. Probably won't, but it's not impossible. It's got a coating or something in there. You just don't know what weird things bad environments do to these things. Ah, now that center one's actually connecting to things. Well, they are 40k. No, that end one should connect to something. Ah, well, there you go. Maybe it just really needed a clean, but it was a bit bent in place, but at least, yeah, that's connecting to a couple of things now. Like I say, you just don't know. These things do some crazy stuff. Now that one, oh, that was definitely connected to, well, it's not connected to that. I'm not sure about that one. That still doesn't seem right. Oh, it's connected to that one now. Yeah, it could be alright. Yeah, weird. But that's what you see in electronic equipment. Sometimes it's just strange stuff that you have no idea what's actually cause the issue, but there is an issue, and that's why sometimes you just pull these things to bits and try and fix them, because don't have much choice these days. Oh well, we'll stick it back in and see if it makes any difference. I think a couple of those end pins weren't perfect, so I might just resolder them. Oh well, reassembly time. Get the dust out of there. Yeah, that's got gooey stuff all over it. I think that's sometimes just the old lube out of things. I guess while we're in here, let's give the basis clean, even though it wasn't scratchy, just in case something's got in there. And the switches are pretty well sealed and a bit hard to get into with the cleaner. And I've got to get this board back bit slot into little slots there. That's it. And carefully drop it down, being very careful of these switches because they like to break on you. And now this board won't go down because it's catching on the board below for some reason. How the hell is that possible? It's just very tight, I think. Yeah, no, the tone board is hitting on this selector board. And there it goes. God, talk about tight. Jeez, it is a tight fit. Really should have freed the front panel up a bit more probably, but get that headphone socket in. What's going on here? That board. What a lot of juggling around. Come on, get in there. Oh, there's something going on with the power switch here. Bloody power switch is in the wrong spot. Come on, what's stopping you? You've got to get the pots lined up, switches lined up. Yeah, a bit of a pain. And who knows, maybe we'll put it back together and still find something's out somewhere. Okay, now we're safe to put this back on, I think. At least start these nuts. Now it's cross-threading on me. It's one of these plastic things, not very good. Gotta get the screws in the switches as well. Geez, none of these want to go on. Tight. Oh, I've got to put that selector back in as well. I guess I might as well do that now when I think of it. It does have an anti-rotation pin to help you get it in the right spot, thankfully. So it can only go one way. And this one's the crossthread. They certainly didn't make the threads on these things very good. Or maybe they got those cheapo thin nuts that don't like to go on easily. That's not the best. Probably should get it shifted for that one. One there, and I think a couple in the power switch or something. forget to put the knob back on the power switch. At least everything's pretty solidly mounted in this thing, so they're not going to go anywhere. Yeah, that's an up and down one. Oh, headphone socket. And I've got to tighten the pots up as well. It's a kind of innovative little way of mounting the circuit boards, just clipping the slots in at the back, and you've got the controls to hold everything at the front, so no need to actually screw them in as such. But it does mean a lot of fiddling around to get this chassis back together. I think that was everything. Looks like we've got all our screws. There's only one on each, most of these switches, so those other holes that aren't filled don't matter. Give it a quick clean out of the dust in the front panel. And the knob, volume knob hole's got quite a bit of stuff in it. And probably should give this whole thing a bit of a clean. Those LED bits stick out, so that doesn't help. In better condition than I expected, so that's not too bad. Most of those marks were just dirt by the look of it. It looked a bit like it might have had some damage, but around the knobs for these switches, just being careful not to flick these things sideways hard or anything, because they tend to be rather fragile. These ones I think are fairly solid, but a lot of those plastic shaft switches will break if you look at them the wrong way. Is that switch not going in? Something weird's going on there. The one that's not, the one that's pressed in, we can just gently press down on that. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, it looks a lot better. Shame the badges has got a little bit of damage. Yeah, does that screw onto the flat? Oh no, I can see this is a mark where that was screwed on. Yeah, which one was it? So, a bit of dust in there as well. So forget that, about there, we should be spot on. And I probably should have found the screw before I put it back in place. Yeah, much easier to see it from the outside. So let's do that and line it up with the mark it left behind. That's better. Double checking that it lines up. It might be a tad out. Yeah, it's ever so slightly out. That'll be right. Shouldn't have took the tool out, should I? Now I'm getting the hang of finding it at least. Let's get that right on the 0. Let's just check. It's not going to go right around. Perfect. Beautiful. A little bit of muck there still. Yeah, it looks a ton better. Still needs a little bit of a clean, but give all the knobs a clean. Well, it certainly looks better than it did. Quite good condition, this one. Like I say, still needs a few little bits and pieces cleaning off. But that's a ton better than it looked when I got it. And yeah, that knob's still got a bit of greasy stuff on the end, I think. So, does it work is the next question. Oh no, it's distorted again. Oh, treble now works. But our channel's back to distorted again, so that's interesting. That's why we always give things a good test run. Well, it looks like we've managed to recreate the fault. Yeah, I resoldered the joints on what is Q4 and Q6 here. And when I was messing around with that board, I must have bumped one of them because the pins come loose. At least one pin on that. It's actually broken the solder again. So juggling that board back into place must have done something. It looks like we've basically recreated the dry joint there again. Unbelievable. So let's resolder it again. Makes me wonder how good the connection of that board was. Whether there's some issue with the soldering's worse than I thought. Maybe it's just because it got so much physical force on it. I'll do the other pin as well, but what are the chances of re-breaking the same solder joint? But I was going to look and see which transistors they are. So they're Q4 and Q6. I think they're the same in both channels. Maybe all those transistors need soldering even better than usual, but seems to take to the board alright. I think that thing must have just got thumped on something. Weird, probably when I had the pots up it was pressing back down on this board or something. So you've got to be careful. I wonder if that's what it was. And I've actually literally caused the dry joint to reappear on exactly the same spot. That was it. Oh, I proved beyond any doubt that I did fix the fault originally because I just recreated the fault and checked again. Unbelievable. But that's the sort of thing that happens sometimes. So yeah, definitely there. Hitting tone defeat gets rid of it, so both of those are working again. But I should have fixed the treble control first, I guess. I didn't realise it was even faulty. Because doing that actually recreated the issue, but it's these flat pack transistors. Q4, Q6, one hiding under the board just there, one there, and the other one's here, which is here Q4 again, and oh, no, that's not it. Where's the other one? Oh, there. Q6 under this bit of wiring, getting towards that trim pot there. So definitely dry joints on those transistors, and I even went and recreated the problem just to prove it. This thing probably wants a few other solder joints going over. I think on this main board, though I did do some of them, this board here could probably do with a few things, so I'll go over them as well. And give the thing a bit of a soak test, but yeah, I can't believe it went back to the same fault. That's just what happens sometimes. Okay, clean the dust and stuff out of it, and it still seems to be working alright. Well, that's just making the CD player skip a bit. So it's usually best to check all the different connections. Make sure you've got 2 channels on them. Tape. Oh, that's not so good. That needs a clean. Yeah, so these switches, if you just go, there's a little join between a whiter piece and a more translucenty, less white piece. If you actually face it down and put your sprayer where they two join, and just keep squirting, you can actually see it go down inside the switch, and that clean that tape 2 switch. So that's how you get into those ones. It does actually leak into them, especially if they're facing downwards. But yeah, showing there's a bit of rust on it, and some sort of, not sure if it's rust under the paint or some sort of chemical or something attacking the paint. It's probably just rust getting under it. So I could really do with a sand and respray of the top cover. But it's not that bad. Most people have it in a cabinet or under other equipment, so you're not going to see it anyway. But yeah, I quite like this. The look of these amps of this era, they're a bit more modern than the old 70s ones and stuff. Kind of a bit of a boring black one. They did come in silver as well, I think, these ones. But it's kind of a nice simple design. Just a nice little red stripe across the front. And yeah, I quite like this sort of era. If I was going to have stuff I used on a regular basis, I'd actually prefer to have this. I've still got that old Technics 7200 or whatever it was on test, which I found a couple of sockets are a little dicky on that, so I have to fix those. But this would probably be more the sort of thing I'd prefer to look at as part of the decor. But it's all a matter of taste, really. But it's a bit nicer than all the more modern ones with all their fluorescent displays, and most of them are surround sound and stuff. So this is just a nice era of simple design. Doesn't look too old, doesn't look too new. Not too plasticky or anything, so proper metal front and everything still. Bit of aluminium there. But all seems to be working. Let's give it one last check. I'll give it a proper test, of course. Should always give them a soak for a day or two, just to make sure everything's working right. But the only other thing I was thinking about with this, I'm not sure it's on that circuit I printed out, I don't think it is. But the relay, I would actually like to, it looks like it's run off a little multi-vibrator or something that probably does the time for it through some quite high value resistors. I would be kind of tempted on this one to actually change those resistor values so it clicks in a bit quicker, because it's ridiculously slow. I was using a Sony one, I think it was the one I recapped at some stage, and that was ridiculously slow, even though it only took a couple of seconds, I think. This one takes quite a while, or it feels like a long time. Turn it on, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I thought it was about 5 seconds, which is pretty slow. Pretty sure you could change that, either the capacitor value or the resistor that charges it up in that little multi-vibrator, and that would speed that up a bit. I think 2 or 3 seconds is plenty for a switch on protector. You don't need it sitting around doing nothing for that long. But I think I'll try and get rid of some of this rust off here, just so it doesn't look quite as bad. And I'll give it a good run. I might make that my amplifier for a while. I must get that Technics one out and have a look. Just when I was testing the hi-fi video that I'm fixing, and ran that for over a couple of weeks or something, listened to various tapes, because it does have a slight audio issue in that. And I noticed one of the sockets drops in and out on that old Technics. They all sort of seemed alright when I tested it, but that's the sort of thing you really got to test. Once you start using them, you find any problems. So it must probably just the center, where the center pin goes in, the metal spread out a bit or something. Possibly it's a bit corroded or something, but I couldn't see anything when I looked at it when I originally fixed the amp. So sometimes it's just been that someone's, if they push on these RCA connectors, that center pin will move up and down and bend the inner little, it's usually just a folded piece of metal, just a flat bit of metal they've wrapped round, it's got a slot in it. And that can be enough. If that's been bent sideways, pushed on the metal, it sometimes just spreads it apart, so it's probably something silly like that. But anyway, this one all seems to be going. Could do with a couple of little bits of touch up on the cleaning, but it's come up pretty good. Looks a lot better than it did. But yeah, almost needs a slight polish on the front, but it is a fairly matte finish, this one, but it's still got a little bit of dirt here and there. But it's good to get another old amp going again. And these are normally pretty good, the Sansuis. This one, if anything, maybe is slightly down on the bass and stuff. Sounds a little tinny maybe on the direct tone. I think you just got to turn it up a bit louder than a normal amp. It just seems a little bit lower level than I would expect. But we'll give this one a good test run, and thanks for watching.